Good morning. How are you? I'm great.
I am great, thank you. So you are finishing your hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
Just finished my 40th dive. Very
Awesome.
exciting. I'm glad to be done.
Awesome. So tell me what improvements you see and what changes you see in your body and your mind, your whole outlook on life.
It's an interesting question. I was referred to the 22 project from a very good friend of mine, Brian Fleming, and he, along with Alex, who started the 22 project, both told me, don't have any preconceived ideas on what to expect. Don't think after dive 15, this is going to happen, or after dive 30, this is going to happen. Brian told me my biggest issue, like Brian's, was sleep. I can't remember the last time in at least the last decade that I went to bed before 1 a.m. And as a guy who's been recently married for the last two and a half years, my wife has never gone to bed with me, with the exception of our honeymoon because we were just exhausted. I would say probably right around, and this is a ballpark, right around dive 20, 25, I just started noticing I was sleeping better, and almost more importantly, I was waking up feeling super refreshed.
So the quality of the sleep, not necessarily the quantity,
and again,
but the quality of the sleep was.
And I know there's REM sleep and deep sleep, and there's 4 or 5 different stages to sleep. Whatever the best one is, that deep sleep, I think I was actually hitting it. And now for the last 10 dives or so, the last week, I've been consistently in bed by 10:30 and falling asleep, and consistently waking up at 5:30 or 6.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, so you are here for hyperbaric oxygen therapy because of PTSD or a traumatic brain injury, or both?
We could check all those boxes.
Okay, and so do you feel comfortable talking about how you actually got that?
Absolutely,
what range did you serve in?
Yeah, so I served in the United States Army. I was a combat engineer. I was stationed in southern Germany. At the time, there were only 7 Army bases or military installations in Germany. Vilseck in southern Germany, about an hour north of Munich, was the smallest. That's where I was stationed. And although I enlisted in 1996, my mom was very happy because there were no wars going on at the time. But I managed to get multiple deployments in before the year even 2000. The first one was Bosnia in 1998. And that is where I suffered my first TBI. After returning home from Bosnia, we were on a training operation getting ready because we got put on alert knowing that we were going to be going in roughly the summer of 99 to Kosovo. Milosevic was doing almost Hitler-like things in Kosovo. And as a combat engineer unit, we were going there not only to support special forces elements, but to do essentially what we do. Go in, blow stuff up, clear the way for people to come in and do what needs to be done. And in a training operation leading up to that, I had, this is roughly 6 or 7 months after that initial TBI, lots of head trauma. I had an 18-foot fall and was completely knocked out, was concussed. I was also injured downstairs, meaning I had to have a testicular surgery on top of the fact that I was concussed, knocked out. So essentially in a 6 or 7 month period, I had 2 major head traumas. And so that was the bulk of my head injuries. And almost immediately I noticed, headaches, sleeping issues. But when you're in your young 20s, you're invincible and it doesn't really matter. And especially when you're in a combat unit, and I think any combat unit or combat veteran can attest to this, when you have injuries and you return from a deployment and you have to talk to psych, you're pretty much told by a lot of the leadership, like, hey, it's not that bad. Like, you don't want to hear those 2 very bad words, non-deployable. And if you go in and you tell them, yeah, I have headaches every day, and this hurts, and this hurts, and this hurts, you don't get to do your job. And when you're in a combat unit and you're training 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, doing a train up for a deployment, when you're practicing and training every day, you actually want to go play against another team. You want to go fight. That's our job. So I wanted to get in the fight. I wanted to stay in the fight. And unfortunately, those injuries just kept persisting, and it turned into real bad sleep issues, continual headaches. I don't have a hearing aid in right now because I just got out of my last dive, but I lost about between 75 and 80% of the hearing in my right ear.
And what about your concentration or your word search?
I've always been able to kind of BS my way through. I've always been able to speak well enough and be articulate enough to at least, I don't know if it's Oscar worthy, but at least come off as if I'm mildly intelligent and well spoken enough to hold a conversation. But there were certainly times where I would shy away from going out, depending on the type of sleep I got the night before or how I was feeling. And then it started turning into migraines that would just come out of nowhere. And there's a difference in headaches. There's we all know when you go to the VA, they have the little chart of the smiley faces. 1 is like a smile, and then 10 is like the upside down frown, like the worst pain ever. And on that headache scale, to use that as an analogy, my headaches after the first TBI in Bosnia were 3, 4s, or 5s. After the second one, after the training incident, they were 8s and 9s. And for me, a 10 is both of my legs are broken, bones are sticking out, I can't use my arms, and I'm being shot at, and a tank's about to run me over. That's my 10. Everyone's 10 is different. So to say that my migraines were 8s and 9s they would drop me to my knees. And I have not had a single headache since I've been done. Yeah, and I thank everyone here. I thank you. I thank Alex and 22 Project, and I thank everyone for what this is. And there are so many people out there that just I just think of right now. I'm literally picturing and rattling off names of guys in my head that I know would benefit from this. The VA, and I never try to put anyone down, and I certainly never try to throw anyone under the bus. But the VA, amongst its other talents, their number one talent, what they do better than anyone, is throw pills at veterans. Mm-hmm. And they throw pills at veterans by the bucketfuls. And I was one of those guys that at one point was on 9 medications. And it made me a crazy person to the point where I'm about the most social guy you'll meet. I love people, and I wouldn't leave the house for weeks. For 3.5 or 4 years now, I have not been on a single medication.
That's awesome.
And that alone has changed my life.
That's awesome. Well, we thank you for your service.